I think the people were very active. In previous conferences here, we didn't get that many questions, but here we got a lot of engagements, a lot of questions from people. I think like the last panel that I moderated on multi-channel, people were very interested about that. Not just they're doing multiple channels, but they really want to know, how do I measure it? How do I better synchronize it? How do I create a sort of parse out the contribution value of each? I think just that and the maturity. In other sessions I was in, the questions again were all about, how do I really make money doing this? And not looking for fluff, not looking for fancy ideas, but really how do I get something and have measurable return on investment, which was pretty refreshing to hear that from people.
So what would you say would be the key themes for the conference this year?
Yeah, I think one is, in every session where social media was talked about, people wanted to know, can I make money doing it? They weren't particularly interested sort of just the, be there and be participating, but really, is there a way to make money from it? And I think that was good to see that people aren't just taking it at face value and wanting some sort of fluffy way to market, but really wanted hard numbers and somebody to demonstrate how they could use it to generate revenue. I think probably the biggest thing I'm seeing is people looking at the data more. I heard from a few people here at the conference that they were surprised how much data they had that they really weren't looking at. And I think for 2014, looking at the data, interpreting the data, and figuring out what we can do with this information. So it's not quite big data, it's maybe just doing something with the data you have. I think that's one. Second is, again, going back to the multiple channel or cross channel. I heard a lot of people looking at ways to combine things, combining paid search and organic search. One that I had a lot of people provide feedback on, as I mentioned, using paid search to test email subject lines. And 2 or 3 people said they'd never thought of that. And they said, what else can I combine? So I think that would be a second theme, is how do we start pairing up different channels to see how they contribute to each other? And then probably the third is just, how do we better understand the phase of the buy cycle or the intent of the person using that medium. So if they're, put something on social media, it doesn't mean they're ready to buy, but they have an affinity or interest or comment on our product. Same thing with search. I think the changes Google's made, the more we're able to interpret that, and that's sort of, not representative of any one market. I think that's wholesale globally. I do find that specifically here in Asia, I think people are a little more responsive to that. A lot of people were asking, how do I do that? So I think that's going to be a theme for 2014, is trying to better understand the data, try to better understand the target market, and then produce content that matches that interest in that phase of the buy cycle.